The biggest news in theme park industry right now would certainly be all the roller coasters being removed within the Six Flags Corporation. The real shocker here is not only have they announced 5 roller coasters to close, they did it without any official goodbye for a ride. Almost every roller coaster that was shuttered, many assumed would be opening back up with a park in 2025. Alas, that is not the case. This news reminded me of a video I made about 4 years ago. It was a list of roller coasters that I believed will be gone in 10 years. We haven't even made it halfway through my prediction, and the roller coasters from my list are starting to drop like flies. Six Flags Corporation has been in Grim Reaper mode, knocking down attractions that are past their prime, potentially setting up the park for future expansions. In this video, I thought it would be fun to revisit my list, see where these roller coasters are today, and maybe talk about a couple other roller coasters that I didn't see coming. Before we get to my list, do me a favor and click on that like button, helping me with the YouTube algorithm. Also, newcomers to my channel that love roller coasters, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to stop by my merch store and check out my newest t-shirt and hat now for sale. The first one on my list would be Batwing at Six Flags America. This roller coaster is now the only of its kind in operation. Nighthawk, which was another Flying Dutchman model located at Carowinds, was put out to pasture earlier this month. The ride will be removed, allegedly making way for another roller coaster. With that gone, it's only a matter of time before the same fate happens with Batwing. I would assume that all the extra parts from Nighthawk had in storage would be shipped over to Six Flags America. Once these usable parts expire, then Batwing will receive the same fate as Nighthawk. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this roller coaster close prior to the 2026 season. Gemini at Cedar Point. The ride is still in operation and ironically has one of the highest capacity of any roller coaster at the point. Will this coaster be removed over the next 6 years? I'm not entirely sure. This was kind of an ambitious guess, but the way Six Flags has been mowing down roller coasters, Gemini might have a reason to fret. Anaconda at King's Dominion. When I made this list back in 2021, I assumed that Anaconda would be the first to go. Well, it held out for 3 more years until once again, Six Flags, without any warnings, decided to tear down the ride. The only reason we even know this is happening is because of the demolition permits. The park has yet to acknowledge the fate of Anaconda. Granted, I could care less if I managed to get my last rides in on Anaconda because I thought it was a terrible ride. However, there are those who enjoy these classic aero looping roller coasters, and closing a coaster without announcing it prior is a pretty low move if you ask me. Goliath at Six Flags New England. When I dropped my original list, Goliath was already SBNO. The ride was scrubbed from the park maps, all pointing to its demise. At the end of that season, the ride was officially closed for good and torn down prior to the park opening back up in 2022. Invertigo at Kings Island. Back when I made my original prediction, Invertigo was high on everyone's list as the next coaster to be removed. Well, surprisingly, the ride is still in operation, even with its hiccups over the past 4 years. Will it survive the next 5 years? I have my doubts, but time will only tell. Lightning Racer at Hershey Park. One of my boldest predictions yet. Instead, Hershey Park went in another direction, taking out Wildcat and replacing it with Wildcat's Revenge, a hybrid roller coaster from Rocky Mountain Construction. As much as I wanted another dueling RMC, Wildcat's Revenge made the most sense. Wildcat was getting very rough and its ridership was starting to dwindle. Lightning Racer has excellent capacity and the ride is still relatively smooth for a wooden coaster over 20 years old. Now, my main reasoning for suggesting its demise was about water park expansion. If this comes to fruition, I'd say now it would happen beyond my 10-year window. I'm happy to move Lightning Racer over into my safe category. Thunder Run at Kentucky Kingdom. I was right that Kentucky Kingdom would remove a roller coaster in the next 10 years, I just had the wrong one. T3 served its last riders at the end of the 2022 coaster season. The coaster has now been torn down into scrap metal. I guess the main reason why I was leaning towards Thunder Run first was its capacity. The ride is only capable of operating with one train, something that's a little odd for a larger style wooden coaster. Next was its condition. Just after I released my original video, Thunder Run went under some refurbishment, making the coaster operate better than before. Similar to Lightning Racer, I would move Thunder Run over into the safe category as well. Incredible Hulk at Islands of Adventure. If there is one thing I know about Universal Studios, they are not shy about removing attractions that are past their prime. The Incredible Hulk still functions as one of the headlining attractions in Islands of Adventure, which is why many were puzzled with my prediction. Now that Epic Universe is months away from its opening date, I expect Universal to then bring their attention back to the other two parks. Now that some time has passed since my original list, I would take my bet off Incredible Hulk and place it on Rip Ride Rocket, which kind of sounds like cheating. When I was in the process of writing the script to this video, it was announced that Rip Ride Rocket would be torn down. We all know that that coaster has been a maintenance nightmare and has never been able to operate to its full potential. We don't know when Rip Ride Rocket will close for good, but we have the demolition permits, so if you ask me, if you're looking to get your last rides on this roller coaster, you better do it while you still can. Lightning Rod at Dollywood. It was no secret that Lightning Rod has been a problematic roller coaster. The ride never really opened in its first year except for a few days here or there. When it did open, it had spotty operations. You felt like you were rolling the dice every time the train leaves the station. Will the coaster complete the circuit? Will it roll back? Honestly, you never knew. Finally, at the end of the 2023 season, Dollywood decided to remove the launch from Lightning Rod and convert it into a standard roller coaster with a chain lift. In my original prediction, I said that the park would either remove this coaster or transform it into something else. Well, the second option is the direction the park chose. I haven't been on Lightning Rod since this transition, but from what I hear, it basically neutered what was once considered to be the best roller coaster in the world. Now, there were two other roller coasters that are getting removed this year that I didn't see coming. The most obvious one would be Kingda Ka. This took everyone by surprise. Once the rumors started to swirl, many coaster enthusiasts made the journey to Six Flags Great Adventure just in case those rumors were true. Well, they were, and the ride had its last day of operation in November of this year. Also, right along with Kingda Ka, Green Lantern, a stand-up roller coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure, closed for good as well. This was the biggest surprise because I felt like this ride could simply be broken apart and shipped off to a smaller park that could use a big thrill like Green Lantern. I mean, they could even convert it to a floorless coaster and put it somewhere else, but instead, from what I know, the ride is being torn down into scrap metal. Well, that's it for my list. The scary part, I don't think Six Flags is done yet with shutting down roller coasters. I expect to hear more roller coasters coming to the end of their operational life within the next year. Well, until next time, this is X Scream Thrills.